first time since I've been doing these videos, I actually beat the sunrise this morning. You can see the sky behind me. It's still pretty. There's not any clouds in the sky. It's quiet. It's like 7:45. And not sure how well you'll be able to tell, but the moon, how bad is my aim? The moon's still up there. Hopefully you can see it. So one thing that's cool about the trail after it's been warm for a week and then it just gets really cold is all those little, well, warm I should say, and rainy, all those little creeks that are formed from the rain. You know, they kind of, they finish flowing all the rainwater, but they stay really wet. Then on a morning like this, when everything froze overnight, it's like, when you walk across them, it's like a mushy ice crystals. It's kind of cool. I don't know, it's like crunching on ice, but it's still muddy. It's kind of hard to describe because it's only like, I don't know, like 30 degrees. So it's not like super, super cold, but it's cold enough for those little water spots to freeze. So anyway, I'm gonna get to hiking this morning. I'm gonna try to do a little more than I normally do. There's a specific loop that I'm gonna try to get done. So I'm sure I'll be talking to you again. But I just thought I should mention that I beat sunrise this morning, which feels kind of like an accomplishment. So, alright, talk to you later. This is kind of what I was talking about, because you could tell, I don't know if you can on the camera, but you could tell that it was really wet and all that moisture is frozen, and then obviously there's frost like on top. I don't know, it was just one little section that was all frosty, but you could tell like up there it's not. I think you can on the camera. Then back there it is. Kind of interesting. Hiking on. So, one of the things that I've been wanting to say, or kind of film, if you will, I've had quite a few different random ideas about what I'm doing and whatnot, but one of the things I wanted to say was kind of like, why am I doing this? Like, what's the point of filming yourself while hiking? So, one of the things is that I obviously love the outdoors, so that was easy, right? But hiking is just something that I've always enjoyed. Hiking, backpacking, being outside, whatever. So, it's just kind of what I naturally went to, I guess. I enjoy being outside in the woods. So that's kind of why this is the activity, so to speak. But multiple sclerosis is a pretty stupid thing. And sometimes being out here kind of helps me get my thoughts together a little bit. And then I can kind of think through, okay, well here's something I could say, or here's how I feel, or whatever. Kind of get away from the noise, if you will, of life. There's more than just noise that is sound. There's noise that is visual, right? Like when you drive down the road, you see just noise. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Hopefully that makes sense, but just being surrounded by noise kind of makes it hard to shut up and think, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, so that's another benefit of just being out here. I've seen 2 people this morning. It's been an hour and a half. I've seen frost, trees, leaves, birds, mud, right? It's just peace and quiet. There's no noise except for those planes, but I can get over that, I guess. Every time I'm out here, I'm like thinking / planning for like a longer trip, like a backpacking trip. I don't know what it'll be. There's a trail in Indiana that I've thought of. There's a really long trail in Kentucky that I've thought of. Obviously the AT is Appalachian Trail is a huge goal, but it's not realistic to do that. 2016, money, time, preparation, all those things, right? For me, for my situation and whatnot. So that's fine. I'll probably just be finding something else that I can do. But anyway, stay tuned for that. Hopefully those happen. I don't know if it'll just be like one-nighters, where I just park the car, backpack in a couple miles and turn around the next morning, or if I'll have the opportunity to do 5 or 6 day treks, so to speak. I also, it's easier to share my story this way, I think. I'm not like trying to avoid people by sharing my story through YouTube, but it is a good way, a good outlet. There's a lot of friends and family that I just don't see face to face. So this is a good opportunity for me just to kind of share kind of a story, I guess. It's a way that a lot of people have found out about me and multiple sclerosis, and I'm fine with that. That's kind of the idea. It's one of those things you don't really... I was trying to kind of think of a parallel. I couldn't think of one, but like, let's say you break your arm and you're doing like this crazy thing. You were doing some crazy adventure, right? You go out and break your arm. The first person that you tell the story to, you go into this detail. You're like, oh, I was doing this. I had been planning all day. I was doing, you're really telling the story. You're really into it. By the time 2 weeks have gone by and you're in the grocery store and you're standing in line and someone says, how'd you break your arm? You say, I fell. Right? It's not that you're offended or that you don't like the person that's asking you, or you're trying to be mean or rude or anything like that. Your level of detail reduces every time you tell the story, right? Your storyline is just less. I see this in my job, if you're the first person to call on a sales call and you're asking questions, well, the person who's talking to you is more likely to give you the most details if you're the first person to talk to them. If you're the 19th person to call, they're just going to say, what's your cost? What's your fee? What's your product? That kind of thing. Really short and sweet, and they're not being rude or mean, they're just kind of tired of talking about it. So again, not anything against people that ask, because I would say everybody that asks because they care, right? That's not the issue at all. Everybody really is cared and supported, has been supportive and everything. It's more of, it's just hard for me to tell a story to everyone, because it's not just I fell down, I broke my arm. Like, it's not that kind of story, but that's the only parallel that I can think of that more people could relate to. Obviously, a broken arm is not a neurological disease that has no cure, but it is a parallel of what I'm trying to say, I guess. It's the closest I can think of that makes sense to more people. So anyway, so that's another reason that I've made these films. It allows me to kind of share a little more detail and kind of put it out there for people who are really curious and they're like, oh, I wonder what Tim is doing, or what's going on with MS these days. You know, well, check it out on the video. I don't, it's not like I don't want to talk to people, so don't get me wrong. Like, if we're friends and we talk, then let's talk about it. That doesn't bother me. It's more just the opportunity for me to share with those that I really just don't get to talk to, and that really do care, but I don't have the ability to, you know, if let's say 100 people watch a video and it's 10 minutes long, I don't have 1,000 minutes to share the same story 100 times, right? Like, that I don't have the ability to do. So this is a good outlet. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's a challenge. Anyway, thanks for watching in, tuning in, whatever. And I have some more thoughts. Not all of them you care about, but this is again the flat part of one of the flat parts of this trail. See the sun. Ooh, right there. Hopefully it's not too bright in the camera. So I'm gonna get to hiking a little bit. As I come up with more thoughts, I'll let you know. But I guess the other thing I will say real quick on this particular video is that if you do know someone else with MS, this may be encouraging to them. It may be frustrating to them. I really don't know. It could honestly go either way. But it may be something to share with those people, or it may be family members of those people, just kind of a, hey, it's not all everything doom and gloom, because it does kind of feel like that, especially for those of us that are kind of, I guess, newly diagnosed. I would say the first year is especially doom and gloom, and doom and gloom is the only way I can think of. Like, I'm gonna die, this is gonna kill me, I won't ever be able to do anything that I want to do again, because you do kind of feel that way. So anyway, so I'm gonna hike and hopefully have another good chance to film today. I know that some of the bigger hills are coming up, so it's hard to film on hills only because I'm, you know, breathing, and then I don't have enough air to talk. So anyway, I'm starting up one of my hills now. So catch you later. I know I'm pointing you at the sun, but just a little bit of fog at the bottom of this hill, and like the glow of the leaves just from being wet and frosted. Now the frost is melting, and it was just kind of cool.